Choosing London Business School for MIM is like deciding to open your first shop not in your local market but directly inside Mumbai's Bandra Kurla complex. The rent is high, the pressure is high, everyone around you is sharp. But if you survive and perform there, the credibility you build is on another level. That's what the LBS MIM feels like. You're not going to a quiet university town where you have time to figure things out. You're landing in London, one of the most competitive global fast-moving job markets in the world, and you have 1 year to make it come. London Business School sits right in the middle of London. You're surrounded by consulting firms, investment banks, private equity offices, fintech startups, and global headquarters operating in the same city where you are studying. That environment changes how you think. You're constantly exposed to ambition. Now, here's the reality. The LBS MIM is 1 year program. 1 year means intensity. It's like a T20 match, not a 5 day test cricket match. There is no slow build up. From day one, you are networking, attending employer events, polishing your CV, preparing for interviews, and working on group projects with highly driven classmates from across the world. Career outcomes reflect that environment. A significant portion of the class moves into consulting, strategy roles, big four, advisory. Finance is another major destination. Investment banking, markets, corporate finance, tech, and product roles are increasingly common, especially with London being such a strong fintech and tech ecosystem. You'll also see students entering luxury consumer strategy and startups. Average base salaries typically land in the 45 to 55,000 pounds, sometimes higher in consulting and finance. When you convert that into Indian context, especially adjusting for purchasing power, it's a strong starting point. But more than the first salary, what matters is that you're entering the market where compensation scales quickly. Let's talk about who you're sitting next to in the class. The LBS MiM cohort is extremely international. You will have classmates from Europe, Latin America, Africa, East Africa, East Asia, North America, all in one classroom. Indians are present in solid numbers, but you are part of a truly global mix. That exposure shapes how you communicate, negotiate, and collaborate. In global roles, that's an advantage. Academically, this is not an easy ride. The average GMAT score for LBS MiM students typically sits in the range of 690 to 720. GRE scores around 320 plus are common among strong applicants. But beyond test scores, there's something very important that Indian students often underestimate: GPA. London Business School is very GPA centric. In fact, most top London schools like LSE, Imperial, and UCL are GPA focused institutions. If you're applying from India, a GPA above 8 out of 10 is extremely important to stay competitive. Academics matter here. They take consistency seriously. Acceptance rate is very competitive, broadly in the low 10 to 15 range, and it's very selective. But what LBS looks for goes beyond numbers. They care deeply about value alignment. The personal values must resonate with LBS's culture, which is collaboration, global mindset, leadership, and integrity. The application itself reflects this depth. You will typically answer 7 to 8 application essays. Two of them are longer essay style questions where you need to explain your story, your goals, your motivations very clearly. The remaining are shorter questions that test clarity and self awareness. You'll need to submit a one-page CV, concise and achievement driven. LBS requires one letter of recommendation, usually from a professional referee. The school sends an email directly to your referee and they submit the recommendations to the system. So you must choose someone who knows your work closely and can respond thoughtfully. English proficiency is compulsory and you will need a valid TOEFL or IELTS score. This is non-negotiable. One of the LBS's biggest strengths is scholarship. This is where many students don't realize how extensive the options are. LBS offers the Masters in Management Scholarship, which is merit-based. There's the Emerging Market Scholarship, which is particularly relevant for Indian candidates. There are Women in Business Scholarships, Diversity and Inclusion Scholarship, Alumni Funded Awards, and broader London Business School Fellowships for outstanding applicants. Some of these can significantly reduce your tuition burden if you present a very strong profile with leadership, clarity, and impact. Another major advantage is the alumni network. London Business School has one of the most influential global alumni networks in business education. When you're applying to consulting firms, banks, or corporates, having alumni in senior roles across continents increases your chances dramatically. For Indian aiming at global mobility, that network is extremely powerful. But let's be practical. London is expensive. Rent, transport, lifestyle, all of it adds up. Because it's 1 year, you have limited runway. You must start networking early. You must attend employer events. You must prepare for interviews alongside academies. It rewards students who are proactive and intentional. From a visa perspective, the UK graduate route allows you to stay and work for up to 2 years after graduation. That gives you breathing space to secure full-time employment and transition into a skilled work visa. So, who is the LBS MiM ideal for? If you're someone who wants to test yourself in a global arena, if you want exposure to consulting, finance, tech, or international roles, if you're comfortable being surrounded by high performers every single day, and if you understand that 1 year means no excuses and academics truly matter. But if you want comfort, slow pace, or time to explore casually, this program will feel overwhelming, and I would personally suggest schools like HEC Paris, ESSEC over LBS. For an Indian student, think of it this way: LBS is not the safe option, it's the ambitious option. It's like choosing to compete in the IPL instead of a local league. The standards are higher, the expectations are clear, the competition is tougher. But if you perform, the visibility and opportunities are on a completely different level. And that's exactly what makes the LBS MIM so powerful and so demanding at the same time. And if you need help to get into a school like LBS and you want to work with someone who has themselves gotten into LBS or similar level of schools, there is a link in the description. You can go there and book a session with us. All the best.